Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This channel is all about paragliding, caving and other random adventures I can get into. The past year I've really gotten myself into electric skateboarding. Back in the day I was a very avid skateboarder,
Yo, do a kickflip!
doing some easy street tricks, but eventually that passion slowly morphed into free flying. I started out with sailplanes, but eventually fell in love with the freedom of paragliding. So how does electric skateboarding fit into all of this? Well, a part of it is my love for skateboarding and snowboarding, but mostly I just use it as a fun method of transportation. Paragliding is a sport where you take an island wing up the hill, either by hiking or driving up with the car, and electric skateboards have been a really fun way to fetch my car after I land. So previously, for doing large hill climbs, I was driving the Wowgo 82 Plus and the Ace-Deck Nomad N3. I also own another tiny short board, the Mini 3 SL, for running short errands in town. I did try flying once with the Mini 3, just to get myself back into civilization without hitchhiking or walking, but the Mini 3 isn't really a board for hill climbs or bad roads. I also did try flying with the Wowgo 82 Plus and the Nomad N3, but I'd rather not talk about it. So this is where I'm coming from. The Tiny Explorer Pro Gear Drive is now the fourth EVE skate I've tried, and I've also sold the 82 Plus and the Nomad because I was looking for a board that could fit between them, and I'll tell you all about this a bit later on. First, let's check what came in the box and what the order experience was like. I ordered the board on Friday morning and I got it shipped the same day from an EU warehouse, so I didn't pay for any shipping or customs tax. By the way, this video is not sponsored. I paid for this board with my own money and I didn't get any discount. The board took a few days to arrive, but less than a week later it was in my hands. Lightning speed if I compare it to my orders of the other three boards, where I waited more than a month for each. So aside from the board and the remote, the box included a handlebar, a set of double kingpin base plates, which I will mount right away, a pump, gear grease and a brush to apply the grease, spare nuts and bolts, 2 spare tubes and 1 spare O-ring for quick swap wheels. What's great about the Tiny Explorer Pro series is that they feature a patented quick swap wheels, which means if you take your spare tubes and the pump on your rides, you don't actually need any additional tools to change the flat tire. In the box there was also a charger, but unfortunately it came with a wrong plug cable, and Tiny was nice enough to offer to send the correct cable, but honestly this is just your normal power cable which you can find with any PC or monitor, so it's really not an issue. The board also came with a manual, but again the manual was for the belt drive version, and I've asked Aiden from Tiny if they can prepare a gear drive manual just for any specific maintenance procedures or things you need to be aware and take care of. Now, onto the board and the remote. The remote is the typical Hobbywing remote with the same design and the Tiny logo, so I might need to mark it somehow so I don't switch it with the Mini remote. The remote also pairs with a smartphone app, so you can adjust the settings like acceleration and brake speed from your phone. As for the board itself, Tiny offers 3 versions of the Explorer Pro, but they all have the same deck, battery and power specs. The Explorer Pro features a fairly large 14S4P 1008 watt-hour Samsung battery, which is almost twice as much as the Wowgo and about 2/3 of the Nomad N3 capacity. When riding the Wowgo, I found the battery severely lacking for uphill, whereas with the Nomad it was just crazy and the board just kept going forever. So I felt that the 1000 watt-hour battery was a good middle ground, well, for me at least. The ESC operates at 58.8 high voltage, which for doing hill climbs regularly, you'll find that this is a must. You see, as the battery depletes and the voltage drops, the motor's power output also drops. But if the battery operates at a higher voltage, then, when the battery discharges, its base voltage is still quite high. Tiny has a great video explaining this, so you should check it out. I've just landed here with my paraglider, and I'm going to use the Tiny Explorer Pro to fetch my car all the way up this mountain over there. So while I pack and ride uphill, let's talk about the board. So the Explorer Pro comes in 3 drive versions, and the difference is how the 3500 watts power from the motors is transferred to the wheels. The hub version on the Explorer Pro is the lightest and slickest variant. Aside from the little larger battery enclosure on the bottom, you could almost pass it as a regular longboard. But because the motor is inside the wheel, it means that you don't have the pneumatic tire softening on your ride. They claim that the hub version should have great torque and hill climbing capabilities. However, I can't confirm this claim, and I haven't asked Tiny about this, but the belt drive version should have the same weight as the hub version, which is 16 kilograms, as listed in the specs. With belt drive you have better torque and better power transfer. By adjusting the belts, you can also achieve a different ratio. The discussion of pros and cons between belt and gear drives is often heated and subjective. Personally, when driving off-road, I rather not worry about belt snapping, so the gear drive boards shouldn't require any short-term maintenance, but regular greasing on the gear after some 1000 kilometers is recommended, and the procedure is just a little bit complicated than just replacing belts. So the gear drive version is something I liked with the Nomad already, and decided to order with the Explorer Pro. The hub and belt drives are the same price, however, the gear drive is $200 pricier and also half a kilograms heavier. By specification, the board should then weigh 16.5 kilograms. However, when I weighed it, it was 17 kilograms. The gear drive has less resistance than belts, so this means you'll get more range with the same gear ratio. Gear drives also have a little bit more torque, and there is also less power loss because gears don't slip. The Explorer Pro feels quite comfortable to ride on gravel, but just a little bit less than on the Wowgo 82 Plus, but still a little bit more comfortable than on the Nomad. Nomad also had a little bit bigger wheels, which helped, but the stiff deck most certainly didn't. So to summarize, my use case with 80 boards is primarily driving 15 kilometers uphill on gravel to fetch my car, and I was looking for a smooth riding experience like with the Wowgo, but the Wowgo just wasn't capable enough. And the Nomad was too wide, too heavy, and had a weird W concave which just wasn't comfortable on my feet. The Tiny Explorer Pro somehow fills that gap. It's just somewhat less flexible than the Wowgo. The deck flexibility adds a lot of suspension to your ride, in my opinion, and when riding gravel you don't even need any truck suspension. The 3mm padded grip tape also helps, but what matters more is the wheel size, and of course the wheels need to be pneumatic. The deck flexibility gives you a very snowboarding-like riding experience, so if they wanted to make the Explorer Pro more flexible, the deck would have to be narrower. However, they decided against it to add more stability when riding at high speeds. One thing I'd also like to see are some bash guards for the motors. I'm usually not very gentle with my gear or riding, so some metal bars protecting the motors, like with my other boards, would ease my mind. The hill climbing capabilities are a breeze. The board has no issue or loss of power jumping verticals, in stark contrast with the Wowgo, which sometimes dropped the speed down to a crawl, and the remote showed warnings of ESC overheating. The board is designed to go 60 kilometers at top speed, which honestly is very far from what I'm comfortable riding. The wheels are designed for the streets though. In my opinion, Tiny should offer tires with a more rough profile, maybe even a larger diameter, so that you could tackle rougher, not so tightly packed gravel or even some gnarly trails. But that starts to fall down the mountain board territory. Which gives me an idea for the next video. Which electric skateboard is right for you? Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see it, as well as your thoughts on this review. So here we are, on top of the mountain. Reached my car. I'll just put my backpack here, and we should go check out the view. It's really nice. Let's go and see. The road is pretty nice. I would need a mountain board over here. Here we are, take-off place. Check out this view. So anyway guys, this wraps up this video. If you're interested in buying Tiny boards, please use my affiliate code JEAN, which is JEAN, and you'll get a little bit of a discount. Where Tiny stands out is their excellent customer support, as well as the 1-year warranty on the Explorer Pro series, which is pretty rare for electric skateboards. So I'd like to thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos like this.